In the heart of a gentle, rolling valley there was a village called Snuggleton, where the grass was always green and the air was filled with the scent of wildflowers. The people of Snuggleton lived in cozy cottages with thatched roofs, and every morning the sun would rise over the hills, bathing the village in golden light. But despite the peacefulness, everyone in Snuggleton whispered about the giant who lived atop the tallest hill, just beyond the edge of the village. His name was Barnaby. He was as tall as the oldest oak tree in the valley, with boots so big they could float down the river like boats, and a smile that could light up even the cloudiest day. Yet the villagers only noticed his enormous size and booming footsteps, never stopping to see the kindness in his eyes or the gentleness in his heart. From his hilltop, Barnaby watched the village every day. He longed to join their laughter and games, but he worried that his presence would frighten the villagers, so he kept his distance. Instead, Barnaby spent his days tending a magical garden of giant flowers, their petals as wide as umbrellas. Birds would nest in his wild, flower-filled beard, and he would talk to them softly, sharing stories and songs. Sometimes, he'd peek from behind the tallest trees, watching the children play tag and chase butterflies in the meadows below, wishing he could join in their fun. He often imagined himself helping the children fly their colorful kites, his big hands guiding them higher and higher into the sky. Or playing hide-and-seek, though hiding was always a challenge for someone as enormous as Barnaby. No tree or bush was ever quite big enough. Still, he stayed on his hill, letting out long, gusty sighs that made the leaves dance and the treetops sway, his heart heavy with longing. As the sun set each evening, Barnaby would sit quietly, his thoughts full of dreams and hopes for a friend who might see past his size. And so, the gentle giant on the hill remained a mystery to the villagers below, kind, friendly, and wishing more than anything not to be alone. Down in the cozy village of Snuggleton, the children often gathered in little groups, whispering and wondering about the mysterious giant who lived nearby. They'd seen his enormous shadow stretching across the rooftops at sunset, and heard his thunderous footsteps echoing through the hills, but none of them had ever actually met him face to face. The grown-ups loved to tell scary stories by the campfire. "Don't go near the hill or the giant will gobble you up," they'd warn, their voices full of drama and mystery. But Lily and Tom, two especially curious friends, weren't so sure about these tales. They wondered if there was more to the story. One day Lily said, "I heard him humming. It sounded nice, not scary at all, just gentle and kind." Then, to their amazement, they saw Barnaby's huge hand gently return a tiny baby bird to its nest, and another time help a small animal out of a bush. The children realized, with wide eyes and growing smiles, that he wasn't a monster at all. He was gentle and caring. Their fear slowly melted away, turning into curiosity, a big, wobbly question mark that danced above their heads. While other kids dared each other to run up the hill and then quickly ran back, giggling nervously, Lily and Tom wanted to know the real truth about the giant. Was the giant truly scary, or was he just lonely, watching the village from afar and wishing for a friend? So with brave hearts and hands tightly clasped, they decided to find out for themselves, determined to uncover the truth. The legend of the giant was about to change forever, and a brand new adventure was just beginning. That spring, rain flooded Snuggleton's river, turning it wild and dangerous. Lily, Tom, and friends were stranded on a broken bridge, swept toward a waterfall. Their cries for help were lost in the storm until Barnaby heard them. Without hesitation, the giant raced down the hill, wading into the raging water. With gentle hands, he lifted the children and broken bridge to safety. The children stared up at their rescuer, realizing he was kind, not scary. Barnaby's bravery saved the day. The villagers saw the truth with their own eyes. The giant on the hill was their hero. Everything in Snuggleton changed that day.
Dancing Dingledorfs.
From that day forward, Barnaby was no longer alone. The once quiet giant who had spent so many days watching the village from afar was now surrounded by friends and laughter. The children cheered for their new friend, and the grown-ups thanked him for his courage and kindness. Barnaby's heart swelled with happiness as he realized how much he was appreciated. Lily and Tom visited Barnaby every afternoon, riding in his giant hand up the hill, giggling all the way. They explored the meadows together, discovering new places only a giant could reach. They had tea parties in his garden, shared stories, and laughed together under the shade of enormous sunflowers. Sometimes, they would stay until the stars began to twinkle. Soon, all the children joined in. Barnaby became the best playmate in Snuggleton. Hide and seek was never more fun than when a giant was playing, and his gentle games brought everyone closer. He helped with chores, rescued cats from trees, and rebuilt the village bridge. No task was too big or too small for Barnaby, and he was always ready to lend a helping hand. The village was happier than ever, filled with laughter, and Barnaby's deep, friendly chuckle echoing through the streets. Even the grumpiest villagers found themselves smiling. Barnaby had found a family, and the children had found the biggest, kindest friend imaginable. Together, they made every day feel like a new adventure. Their friendship showed everyone that kindness comes in all shapes and sizes, and that even the biggest among us can have the gentlest heart. Snuggleton was now famous for its wonky cottages, and its wonderful giant. Visitors came from far and wide to see the village where everyone belonged. The village square rang with joy, and Barnaby's heart was finally full. Every celebration felt brighter with him there, and the whole town felt like one big family. The giant's dream had come true, and so had the dreams of everyone in Snuggleton, all because they opened their hearts to a friend as big as a giant. Barnaby, once feared, became the heart of Snuggleton. His shadow was now a comfort, his footsteps a happy sound. The children learned never to judge by appearances. Friendship, they discovered, can be found in the most surprising places. Barnaby taught them that kindness is a superpower, stronger than any flood. The village and the giant gave each other the greatest gift: true friendship. So if you meet someone different or lonely, remember Barnaby's story. A little kindness can make the world a friendlier place, one giant friendship at a time.